Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's episode of USI Strategic Dialogue, where we explore the evolving architecture of India's air defense from a legacy system to a fully integrated multi domain shield for the 21st century. In this special conversation, we delve into how India's air defense doctrine has transformed from service specific silos to a unified network designed to counter the full spectrum of aerial threats. Our discussion today will span six key themes: the strategic vision guiding this evolution, the emerging threats redefining airspace warfare, the operational lessons from conflicts like Kargil and Sindoor, and India's remarkable progress towards technological self reliance through indigenous systems. We also look ahead to the integration of AI, space based sensors, and cognitive command systems that will shape the future readiness. So stay tuned as we unpack these critical questions with our distinguished guest today. Our distinguished guest today is Lieutenant General A.P. Singh. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you so much.
Before we start, a word about the General. Lieutenant General A.P. Singh served in the Indian Army for over 4 decades, retiring in 2021 after an illustrious career marked by exceptional leadership and professionalism. He has tenanted important command and staff assignments in operations, operational logistics, and military secretary branches. His final appointment was that of Director General, Army Air Defense, where he played a pivotal role in modernizing India's air defense architecture and fostering jointness across the services. Prior to this, he served as Commandant Army Air Defense College, steering the institution towards greater standards of training and technological adaptation. Commissioned into the Corps of Army Air Defense in 1981, after graduating from the National Defense Academy and the Indian Military Academy, he is an alumnus of the National Defense College and the Higher Command course, among other prestigious career assignments. He holds a doctorate in military science from Jivaji University. For his distinguished service to the nation, Lieutenant General A.P. Singh has been awarded the Param Vishisht Seva Medal and the Ati Vishisht Seva Medal by the President of India. So welcome once again, sir, to this podcast.
Thank you.
So to begin, sir, you are aware that India's air defense evolution reflects a major doctrinal shift from isolated service-specific systems to now a unified network shield capable of countering diverse aerial threats. How do you view this evolution from a service-specific model to an integrated multi-domain network?
Firstly, thank you, Sanjeev, for calling me on this podcast. Especially after having retired almost 4.5, 5 years back.
It's an honor for us,
But
sir.
Having served in air defense for all my life, it gives me such a pleasure to be here. Now they say, if you want to know how the future would be, look back at the history. And air defense, air defense came all along with the Air Force. Both of them came up in the Second World War, if you recollect, 1930s, they say. And if you recollect the Battle of Britain, the whole, I can say that air defense, ground-based air defense changed the whole course there.
Correct.
The radars came up, the number of guns which got deployed there. So what I'm trying to say that if you look at the history, the ground-based air defense has done yeoman service in all operations. Second is that the Britishers very foresighted. When they made the Union War Book in 1939, they made it very clear that there is air defense and there is anti-aircraft. So the Union War Book made very, very clear that all activities in the air, including air intelligence, will be done by the Air Force. All activities from the ground will be done by the Army. From ground to air firing, taking care of defenses, logistics, everything done by the Army. And that is how the air defense after independence also started moving. Somewhere after 1971 war, if you recollect, the Union War Book started getting tweaked.
Correct.
And that's the time in my perception, the dilution started. The Air Force also got into the ground-based air defense. I mean, that all these Visho riots, they wanted guns in the airfields. So classic, that division between the two services started getting diluting. And that is how you find the air defense lost track of its core competence, or whatever you want to call it. But I'm happy to tell you that now the things have, I can tell you, Ops Sindoor is an inflection point for the air defense, for the whole world.
Absolutely.
And air defense has got a very different dynamics. Firstly, you are defending. Secondly, you are also sorting out the air attack.
Air attack.
So, but somewhere around 2015, if you see, the whole world has changed now. That hybrid warfare that Sanjeev you talk about,
Sir.
you look at that. As far as technology is concerned, all these emerging technologies, starting from AI and all that, they've started coming up. AI had a long winter for 60 years. You see how the Chinese got into A2AD, that first, that chain of islands they have made.
Correct.
Because precision warfare, the US thought it's the ultimate thing. So the third offset that you talk about, the A2AD you talk about, the technology you talk about, and hybridization of the warfare. If you look at 2015, your Houthis.
Houthi.
I mean, the drone itself, drone was getting employed in singles and twos. 2001, if you recollect, Iran-Iraq war. But somewhere around 2015, the mass employment of combat drones started.
Correct.
Houthis, take example of Syria. Now that two famous this thing that we have. So what I'm trying to say, the whole concept of air defense, what we have been doing from 1939 till 2015, it was a different. You mentioned very clearly that service specific, but now it's not possible.
Absolutely.
Let me tell you very clearly, it's just not possible for any one single service to say that I'll be able to handle the air defense of this country. That's my opinion. I think I've been a little longish, but
No. So thank you very much, sir, for that comprehensive answer. So as I understand is that the future of AD is no longer service specific.
absolutely.
And we have to integrate all that is available, which includes Air Force, intelligence, and the ground-based AD systems. They all have to.
So look at the threats that we are getting. We are having drones. Drones have created a very different kind of view. I mean, all possible technology that you can think of.
Absolutely.
It's there in this battle that we are discussing. You have that cruise missiles. You have ballistic missiles, and you have hybrid. So this is the trend everywhere.
So very rightly as brought out by the general, the threat environment today has changed dramatically. Drones, hypersonic weapons, and standoff munitions are blurring the line between conventional and asymmetric warfare. India's air defense network must now detect, track, and neutralize these threats at unprecedented speed. So with this transformation, sir, what new challenges do you see, and how can integration help mitigate them?
It's obvious. The challenges are many today. I mean, expectations from the air defense are like what we have seen of Sindoor, that you have to defend the nation, you have to defend the borders, you have to. But the threats which are coming in, like look at the drone threats.
Absolutely.
The drones, because of the kind of character they have, the way they are getting employed, it is difficult to pick them up with the whatever inventory that we have, the radars they have. So what I would say, the first challenge is the kind of sensors, the radars that we have today are not going to function in tomorrow's battle. If in case we have Ops Sindoor tomorrow, we'll not be able to handle this. So the first challenge is that our technology of like all these Akash and all radars that air defense or air force has, they are all based on the last technology of 90s and 2000s. So they are technology of phased array radar. You can't handle this thing. You have to get into digital, active, electronically scan that radar, that kind of thing. You have to get into now that quantum radars. Quantum radar, the day they get operationalized, I mean, we keep hearing, the whole world will change. I mean, your, what do you call that? I mean, everything will be different.
Absolutely.
So the first challenge is the sensors. We have to start. I'm not finding much research going on in the country in the next generation radars. Then is communication. Oh, communication is something which we have neglected all these years. So I can proudly tell you that we were struggling with that ADCNR, Akash Tir, that
Absolutely.
did this thing. We were struggling. ISCCS, Akash Tir, Trigun, everybody's on his own. But the worst is that we started all these projects in 2000, 2001. So, but till about when I was Director General to 18, 19, I'm in the same pace. Air Force will say, you are not there, we are not there. So we scrapped the whole thing. We did it very fast and we done our part. But I can tell you, we should not get satisfied with Akash Tir. Akash Tir is of yesterday's technology.
Oh.
So if you look at it, that your PC revolution, you started with mainframe when you were a young
Absolutely.
officer. Both of us were there. Then you got the PCs, sir. Then you got .com. Then you got internet. Even internet is a passé of yesterday. So what I'm trying to say, we have to see what is happening in Ukraine today. The Delta network that they're all app based. I mean, you creating apps, those big companies like Palantir and all that kind that they say. So I'm not finding that kind of a approach there. So we have to get into a decentralized this thing. So that's the second challenge. Third challenge is our weapon system. The weapon systems have to get smart now. We have, I'm not saying throw away those legacy systems. The legacy systems are there, but legacy systems have to be digitized. So our L-70 guns, you know as much as I know. 1960-61, it's almost about 65 years old. We are holding on to those guns. Our guns are the future, but not that L-70 type. We have to. Even I struggled as a DG to get a new gun, but somehow it doesn't. So smart ammunition, guns, communication, radars, and these are the three components. All three have to be modernized and brought to the level of 2025-26 threats.
That was a very insightful answer, sir. And absolutely, India has got miles before we need to catch up, especially like you said on sensors front, communication front, the weapon systems, the radars. We need to catch up for the looming threat of drones.
Absolutely. It will be. I can't, I won't take your time, but the point is, you look at Pakistan, sir. Pakistan, so with all due respect, let me tell you, they have been 2 steps ahead of us as far as the air defense is concerned. Correct. They made the Air Defense Command in 1977-78. Many things, your digitization of this. So in 2021, they have made a battle management system in Karachi, this thing about 3-4 years back, which is not there with us
today. Absolutely.
So, and there are many other things. So those guys have been very more dynamic, I'll say more adventurous. And so hopefully we should be.
Let's see. I'm sure we'll catch up, sir.
Yes, absolutely.
So our past conflicts from Kargil to Sindoor have repeatedly shown that AD success depends upon seamless coordination across all frontiers. The move toward theatre command is seen as a major step in that direction. So what are the key lessons learned from these operations, as per you, that underline the importance of jointness for us?
As I mentioned to you, the air defense fights the battle in the air. And air is the medium today of threat. If you look at it, the amount of threat that we are coming up. So whether it is an ability of, as we have seen, all these kinds of threats which are coming from the air. So as far as that jointness is concerned, I think we are past the stage of jointness also. In the sense that jointness should have been there right from the beginning itself. Let me tell you very frankly, the op tasking that you and me used to get, like I used to go deploy on the airfield. The Air Force used to provide us close air support.
Absolutely.
When all these things became, service oriented.
Absolutely.
Close air support is not coming to us. Generally it's not coming, obviously. We have also started showing that we will not this thing. So it got disjointed, especially in 90s, 80s and 90s. That's the first point. But what I'm trying to say is now we are why I use the word jointness is a passé. We have to get to the integration stage.
Absolutely.
Integration means we are one. Integration in the terms of our training. I was commandant in Gopalpur. We had a joint course with the Air Force. They have in Memora Air Force training. This thing, we have this thing. I found some of the nomenclature, some of those definitions. I mean, they use different, we use different.
Which doesn't make any sense.
So, when we meet during our field service life, they're also, I mean, their concept of air defense is ki anything, I'm flying in the air, I mean, and I should intercept some object and bring it down. That we look at, no, on ground, the guy is coming, I have to defend so I am defending my asset. So my outlook is keep looking at the equipment, looking at the target, but Air Force, there is no boundary there.
Absolutely.
So what I'm trying to say, I have, in fact, General Rawat had, I mean, given the orders for the integration to start,
Correct.
Integrate air defense, and I was for it. In fact, we wanted, that's the only way to move out. And unfortunately, whatever happened. But integration is the answer. And integration, all three services, I'll say. We have used certain equipment of the Navy.
Absolutely.
This thing. So, I mean, we have to get our concepts, our strategy, our doctrine, our training, our equipment.
Absolutely.
The platforms have to be common. The platforms have to be common. Even Akash, the two of us, we got Akash. Air Force got it and we got it.
Yes.
There's a difference. Difference in this thing.
In the philosophy.
Just because the Air Force says we deploy on a fixed this thing. We say we are a mobile. But within that also, there is a difference how they look at, how they will look at it.
Absolutely. So, I mean, as you brought out very correctly, that there is a not needs, and the answer to everything is only integration.
Integration, sir. Integration. I'm very, very clear. It's called integrated air defense setup everywhere.
Yep.
Israelis are doing it, sir. Russians are doing it. Chinese are doing it. Americans, now you heard about this thing. So every country is doing it. And I'll not say like Iran, you become an independent service as such. But integration is the answer to optimize all your...
So thank you, sir, for clarifying that. And now turning to Atmanirbharta, India's journey towards technological self-reliance is visibly reshaping its air defense landscape. Indigenous systems like Akash, Samar, and the upcoming Desi Iron Dome are transforming capability and confidence. So as per you, how are these homegrown systems redefining India's path towards a self-reliant and network and an integrated air defense ecosystem?
Firstly, let me be very frankly tell you that we have last 10 years put a lot of time and energy into Atmanirbharta. But when I look at the Chinese also announced around 2015 that we will become self-reliant, everything. And they have achieved. They're already there. So only the pace is slow. That is the first point I'm looking at it. And there is so much of divergence in looking at things. As we mentioned, like say, let's take Akash itself. The technology of Akash, when I look at it, and technology of MRSAM, there's a humongous difference between the two. Both the systems have come to us. So the first point that we have to, I personally feel that we have become visible. I mean, from the top, there is a push now to get into Atmanirbhar. But there is a sense of a little, I don't know what to say, a slow, chalta hai, that attitude of this thing. Technology has been democratized. I mean, all kinds of technology that we had. We mentioned about the radar technology. We mentioned about what is perhaps required, that a little harder push and with the targets. And that will not come out with all three services doing on their own. You have to create some system. I'm not saying you create an air defense service or something, but some over it, because air defense is the battle now.
Absolutely.
Tomorrow is the amount of this thing. So there are many lessons we can take from. I mean, Chinese are quiet, but then they are amazing. I mean, they have overtaken US in every possible way.
Absolutely.
I mean, AI, then every kind. So we too we have to look at, we have the talent. Obviously, there's a talent. Money is available. The government's intentions are clear. But somehow that there is a gap. And frankly, what I saw in Opsundur, our people on the ground are also little happy in their own domain. That push somehow has to be given to them.
Thank you very much, sir, for that comprehensive answer. And as I get it, that yes, India is moving towards self-reliance, but however, the pace is slow, and there is divergence in thought process of the stakeholders, and hence a very hard push needs to be given in the correct direction to ensure that this pace hastens, and this divergence
Absolutely,
in
sir.
thought that becomes more converging.
I mean, we are almost 10 years behind even in the emerging technologies that you see, where
Absolutely.
how even a country like Turkey, a country like Azerbaijan, I mean, even Russia, I mean, all these countries, Ukraine, I mean, they are, I mean, we are little.
The way they have been able to sustain battles, I don't think India can.
That culture, I'm talking about sir, culture and cognition, जो बोलते हैं आप, that culture somehow has to be made little more forcefully innovative, I'll say.
Very right, sir. So coming next, as we look ahead, the future battlefield will be defined by AI, space-based sensors, and cognitive command systems. Tools that will transform the way militaries detect, decide, and defend. So in your view, how can these emerging technologies enhance India's integrated air defense posture over the next decade? We've already spoken that there needs to be a stronger push in the correct direction so that the pace of our technology acquisition and imbibing these technologies increases. So how do you feel that these technologies will get accepted and will get integrated into the air defense system?
So, firstly, air defense. I can proudly tell you, is the way back in 1958, DARPA and that was getting created. The first major project, bigger than even that the nuclear that of the US, was on air defense. They've created a chain of radars, a chain of computers, that human-machine integration.
Correct.
So air defense has always been the first to get into technology, either through the radars and all that, what you see. So even all these, to an extent, that MRSAM and all those things we have, there is a, I'll not say 100%, but there is an AI in all that.
Absolutely.
So what I'm trying to say that air defense weapons cannot do without the emerging technology. That's the first point. So we have to adopt, adapt,
very well,
assimilate, and this is. There's no other way. You cannot fight the threats of tomorrow, all this, without an AI this thing, enabled this thing. So that's the first point I have. Second is that, I mean, India, that we professionals must start looking at 2-3 things. We should not go blindly towards one side, sir. Like US, and they are very good in short wars. US has always impacted. But US is not a long-term thinker. Long-term thinkers are the Russians, sir. If you look at the Battle of 1944, the Battle of Kursk, that Hitler almost was there in Russia.
Absolutely.
But they turned around because they got those 3-4 years to turn. Precision warfare, which US started in Gulf and the other thing. It's the Russians who showed the way of how to get over the precision warfare. Firstly, the Reiki strike complex that came up, so then A2 anti-access air attack, and Chinese have picked up. What I'm trying to say is after this Ukraine war we'll get over this. We as air defense officers must start looking at how Russians are looking at the future. They have putting all this technology. Hypersonics, by the way, they are the first ones who have launched hypersonics. Yesterday, day before the news, you saw something on they have a cruise missile which can go some 18,000 kilometers or something like this. So we must look at the Russians, and we must, that's for a long term. Secondly, you have to push harder our system to create AD, air defense, to take care of multi-domain operations that you talk about now. I mean, there are exercises going on. Alaska, we had that Air Force exercise where how F-35 picked up a target, so, and then how it designated that air defense system of this in US to take on the target.
Correct, correct.
So, firstly, the integration has to be 100%. All these are happening because of technologies. The satellite communication, the LEO satellites, that SARS radars that you talk about. So the air defense must, that ability to function in a multi-domain operations. Multi-domain operations, AD will have is cyber that you are handling, electronic warfare. I mean, all this is
Absolutely.
a part of that culture. So we must get into, if we are going to win against our adversary tomorrow.
Very well, sir. Thank you very much. And once again, to re-emphasizing the requirement of integration in the field of air defense. So finally, sir, before we wrap up, India today stands at the cusp of a doctrinal and technological leap in air defense, which we have seen through all your answers. One that will shape our strategic deterrence for decades to come. And what we need to do in that, you have already very rightly covered in the discussion that we had. So in one sentence, how would you define the future of India's air defense?
Like I said, it's a age of air defense now. I mean, if you see everywhere, last 10 years definitely. So the air defense has got the talent, and we are innovative people. Only the right tools, if you get it, so I think we'll be able to defend this nation well. And there should be clarity. I mean, we cannot. There is a threat, that low-level threat from cruise missiles, from drones, ballistics. They're going to keep increasing. Other threat is that hypersonics and other kind.
Correct.
So how you synergize the two,
Absolutely.
the leadership's challenge
So
today.
synergy again stands out with
sir,
integration.
Yes, sir.
So thank you, General AP, for sharing your valuable insights and experiences. Your perspectives offer both clarity and inspiration for all of us as India goes ahead to build a truly integrated, self-reliant air defense architecture. You have brought out many aspects today, which I'm sure by way of this podcast, maybe it reaches the people who need to attend to it. So thank you very much for your time today, sir. We have heard the various aspects of air defense from an esteemed guest today, and it is very clear that India has definitely evolved to though slow, to an integrated multi-domain network driven by jointness. The present state of Atmanirbharta is coming a long way, but needs to be hastened to transform India's air defense into a predicted integrated shield paved by indigenous innovation. So, for our listeners, stay tuned for more discussions coming up on the strategic dialogue by the United Service Institutions of India. Thank you very much, and Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir.